she wants the business to be able to evolve with her as her baby is going through constant evolution. And I was like, "Oh, that's so juicy." Right? And I'm like, that's exactly what I've had the privilege of having a business throughout the pregnancies and birthings and nurturing of both of my babies. Welcome to Mindset Mastery Podcast, where we explore the intersections of motherhood and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Julissa Edwards, and in each episode, we're diving into mindset, emotional regulation, and the real stories of mom entrepreneurs navigating both business and family life. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome back to another solo episode. I have been called to be even more vulnerable in the terms of showing you guys the behind the scenes of what I'm doing in my company nowadays, um, in real time. Like I think in the past, business wise, I used to feel that, well, no, let me correct that. I think in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, it was also new for me showing and sharing my life on Instagram and things of that sort that it was just all scary and empowering and exciting. So it was almost like things didn't really matter too much. It was just like, I'm trying something new. Let's just see if this works. And, if you know my story, it worked out. I did end up learning about business, hiring mentors. I stayed glued to my vision. And over time, my vision evolved. And what I want to talk to you about is in more vulnerability is how my business is evolving in real time and what is the motivator in all of that. So I'm really proud of myself because I honestly didn't even recognize what I was really doing until just 2 days ago as I was interviewing one of my really good friends to do market research on this new product that I'm creating. And she brought it out to light, and what I recognized was that yeah, I am shifting my business quite a bit. And the thought of this is crazy or wow, this is a lot, I've definitely felt that part. Wow, this is a lot. I've definitely felt that like we have to do everything from scratch, kind of, sort of. But the thought of we can't do this has never really sat. I have moments of fear and overwhelm where I'm like, I don't really know about this, but no, sorry. I have moments of doubts and overwhelm, saying thoughts of this is a lot. I don't have enough time. When am I going to find the time to do this? I'm going to have to work on this after I put the kiddos to sleep because if you've been updated on my life, we've had a reduction of childcare at this time. And so I'm literally trying to do a whole new thing with my company with less time than what I usually have. And I want to talk about my motivation behind that. So as I was interviewing my beautiful friend, she brought to light that I asked her, why is it important for you to have business while also caring for a newborn or simply being a mama? So she has a 3-month-old newborn. And shout out to you, girlie. You know who you are if you're listening. And yeah, she was sharing with me how she wants her business to be able to evolve with her the same ways. Yeah, she wants the business to be able to evolve with her as her baby is going through constant evolution. And I was like, "Oh, that's so juicy." Right? And I'm like, that's exactly what I've had the privilege of having a business throughout the pregnancies and birthings and nurturing of both of my babies. And it, because I've always been someone who just goes with, I don't want to say goes with the flow, but like wears many hats and it's just like moving with emotions kind of thing. I didn't even recognize that in helping mamas with this new program that we're creating and helping mamas build their businesses. I am leading by example of like, this is literally what it's done for me. So let me be more specific because I honestly forgot all the pivots that I was able to make in business because of my children. So we were reminiscing, or I was reminiscing on how, the baby stage is so different from the toddler stage. And even the baby stage within that first year Every 3 months is drastically different. And for some, it could be every month is drastically different. Your baby's teething. They're not sleeping during the night. You're either breastfeeding or pumping or formula, like whatever it is. My beautiful friend right now is going through a process where she is hiring help for the first time because she's about to go back to work. And so that's bringing up a whole bunch of nerves and anxiety and things of that sort, which is so normal. Motherhood is like this constant evolution of change. And if anything, you kind of just you become a master of that constant evolution of like, don't get used to something for too long because your baby's going to keep growing and it's going to change. And that gets to be okay and it gets to be beautiful. There are beautiful stages within each part of your child's evolution. And there's moments where it's hella challenging, and that is also okay and beautiful and an opportunity for growth. So let me not get too sidetracked. Back to the whole business thing of my business and any mother's business getting to be this thing that aids your motherhood journey in terms of flexibility. So what I was reminiscing on and telling her was that in the beginning of my business, sorry, in the beginning of my motherhood journey, business, I don't want to say it was easier, but I was able to do different things on my phone for work than I'm able to do now. And let me give more context. So in the beginning, I wasn't sleeping. I was sleep deprived, that whole, beginner baby stage, all the things. And so while I was exhausted, I really was, and my first time mom with Marcus, like, all those new, just like jolting things, my business at that point had been maybe like a year and a half old. So I had clients, I had traction. I think at that time I was running a mastermind, but I had hired a co-coach to help me run the classes while I took maternity leave and did minimal work behind the scenes. Now, what is minimal work? It was actually a lot of work, but I wasn't in front of my computer screen. So when Marcus, my baby, would, wake up in the middle of the night and I would, get woken up and now I have to like change his diaper, do a feeding, um, rock him back to sleep. Sometimes he would have to be held for a long time, which is normal. He's a baby. And so while he had that contact skin to skin with me, I was exhausted, having to keep my eyes open. Also, a new time mama, so scared of like, oh my God, is he gonna roll off my chest? I have to stay awake. I can't fall asleep with him. He's not old enough for that. I don't want to squish him. I don't want to suffocate him. I don't, all these thoughts. And so I'm like, okay, I have to stay awake. What can I do right now? And sure, I would have those mindless scrolling sessions on Instagram, but my brain is in business mode. So I took those times as opportunities to get administrative work done, like emails or copy or something that I could do literally with a thumb as I was holding Marcus with my left arm. I had my right arm available. And it was just like a point where, like, yeah, I'm rocking him to sleep, or he's on my chest and he's feeling comforted and he's not in a deep sleep yet where I can put him back down in the crib. So I got to hold him for like 30 minutes or so. And so while I'm doing that, I might as well pass the time by checking in on my WhatsApp messages within my team. What do they need? What's going on? How are my clients doing? All of that stuff I would do at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, because that's when I was able to do it. So that's how business was working out for me during that stage of newbornness. And it was great. It was great. I had the support in place that I needed to do normal business hour things where my team took care of it. And when it was the CEO's role to come in and overlook things or introduce new ideas or whatever the case may be, I also had time for that in the middle of the night. I was also reminiscing with my husband about I used to have this short series called, if you've been following me for a long time, maybe you remember this. I think it was an IGTV, it was before Reels became a thing, Instagram, and I used to do pumping chronicles. Do you guys, I don't know if you guys remember that, but it used to be me pumping because breastfeeding didn't work out with Marcus, and so we pumped for the entirety of his breastfeeding journey for 6 months. And yeah, I was pumping like around the clock. Every 4 hours I was pumping, and I had to be stuck to a wall. And it was again another thing of like, I can't fall asleep at this time. My body has to be upright. And if you give me enough time to think, my mind is going to wander on so many different things, one of them being business. And so I would have these like really like psychological or like deeply philosophical thoughts about life, about mother, about anxiety, about all that I used to teach. And so that's what I used to talk about. I used to put the camera, neck up so that you wouldn't see my boobies. And I would have, and it would be so funny. I remember my sister-in-law commenting saying, the background noise is so distracting, and it was the pump of me expressing milk from my baby. It was like arch, arch, and every was me releasing milk, and I would literally be recording over that because I used to pump, I think, for anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes at a time, and it was like, can't hold the baby at this time. Can't do anything because we're stuck to a wall. So it's like, might as well get some content in, right? And for me, it was fun, liberating. Like what I was telling my friend and what she related to as well as I was giving her this interview for market research so I can better learn how to better help these kinds of clients coming into my business these days. Um, what I was telling her was that, yeah, like my business is almost, I don't want to say it's an escape. It's a room of individuality. It's a room of empowerment. It's a breath of fresh air, especially when you're in the motherhood um what's a good word for it? The motherhood bubble that you do when you are in the beginning phases. And for me, beginning is like the years of like 1 to 7, like, 1 to 5 before the kiddos are even in school, like those really, really hard moments that come with so much bliss and joy and gratitude and just, oh my God, this enamored, like you are just so loved. You are so in love with your baby. Your babies love you so much. Like the connection, it is such an array of emotions. And even though all that is grand, I still desire alone time. I still desire time for me to think about something that I am doing that is outside of my babies, for me, that is healthy. And it's not only healthy, for me, it's necessary. So in those pumping chronicle times, I was able to do things like that. And so what I wanted to share and being more vulnerable in real time with is that the sole reason for me changing my business model now is literally for my children. And I think I've alluded to that in other podcast episodes, but I don't think I've been super see-through, transparent. Sorry, I have a lot of things on my brain. I haven't been super transparent on what that actually like where is it stemming from, right? And so in these days of my kiddos, ages 2 and 3, they're toddlers. Marcus is like a full-fledged little boy, climbing all the things. Maya too. Don't listen. This girl, she is just learning so quickly because she has Marcus to go off of. But what I'm trying to say here is that the days of, okay, it's my shift, to be back on mom duty and all the things, and when they go to bed, I can just do some work, are no longer existent. Marcus no longer naps. He's 3.5. That kind of stopped for him 6 months ago. And Maya's naps have gone from 90 minutes to about 45 minutes. And even though it is nice to get a little break in the middle of the day when she goes to take a nap, I still got Marcus. So it's not like I'm free. Although it is quiet time. So it's, he's doing something kind of by himself. And to be frank, what I'm utilizing during that time is I'm cooking. I'm usually cooking while Marcus is playing solo. Maybe I'll read him a book and we have some bonding time, things like that. But it's quiet time. I prepare for Marcus and then I'm usually cooking for the family, which I love to do, by the way. It is one of the my newest passions. Like I feel like I'm fully integrating into my mom role of like I'm really happy truly to provide a well-nourishing meal for my family that they love. I love trying new things and I love getting good feedback of like, oh my God, mommy, this is so delicious, from my husband too. Like I honor myself in those roles of being a really good caretaker. And my husband's at work, so he can't come downstairs, and so I am cooking and then bringing him up a plate of food, and that makes me feel really good. I love doing things like that. So again, my time isn't being utilized to go back to the business. And I have set hours for that, so I really shouldn't be doing that. And so what I'm trying to say here is that in this stage of my parenthood journey, my children are simply demanding more of my time. They're talking, they're expressing their emotions, they're having big emotions. And I would only imagine from me mentoring other mamas and hearing their stories, and also just like my logical way of thinking, I would only imagine that as my kids get older, yes, they may go to school, and that'll probably be my time to work in the business and all the things. Um, they're demanding my full attention. They need more attention from me, which just makes sense. Like as they get older, they're going to go through more complex emotions. They'll go to school, they're growing into little human beings. And if you're an adult, you should know at this point, if you've been following along my journey for this long, and hopefully, have insight into your own healing journey, that to be an adult human being is to be a body full of complex emotions. And the way that we supersede or evolve within time is having a grand connection to self. And so while my babies are growing into themselves, it is my job, my greatest duty, to aid them, guide them into always going back to self, helping them have a good connection to their intuition, to their soul, to their purpose. And it's without my injections, without societal injections. And so that takes a lot of emotional bandwidth, um, grand intention. And what I know, what I don't want to be doing or feeling is that, oh my God, I have to answer an email or check this or check that. So in this time of my CEO role, I'm really working on bettering my delegation skills, bettering my systems within my business so that things are kind of working on automation, and there doesn't need to be an actual person doing all the checkpoints. If anything, there's somebody overseeing all those checkpoints, and the overseer is not me. In this point of my career, I have grown enough confidence in the mastery of my skills as a coach, as a therapist, as a healer, that I know that my presence is most needed in front of new people and in front of my current clients. I no longer desire, I don't think I ever did, but now that my kids are older, it's a big pivot, a big shift. And I no longer have the time to be doing all the minuscule things that have to happen to keep a business running. And it's no one's fault but my own as to why we're not there yet. And that's not me being hard on myself. It's just me being my children pushing me in a great way to get this done at a faster pace, right? So when I'm sharing on my stories or any updates of my life and my business of like, hey, we're doing a new program, like I am very excited for this new program. I really am. And it's being fully fueled by my children need more of my time in this chapter of their lives. And so to when I was interviewing my friend doing market research, she brought light to that. That's what she wants. And I'm like, holy crap, that's actually exactly what my business has truly allowed for me to do. So here I am, a living, breathing embodiment of what a lot of moms hope to have, that are considering to open a business. And it just dawned on me that, like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm doing. And so I keep saying the term market research, because when I say that, like, we are literally, it's not that we're starting over where it's like this is something completely new. Like it's a coaching program. I've done coaching programs for the last 5 years. It's just a really specific niche, ideal client. And being a business owner, having learned all the things that I've learned about branding and market research over the last 5 years, I know that this time, if we want to make this a real success, where it's impacting a lot of lives, my messaging has to be really clear for people to understand exactly what I'm doing. Hey mamas, real quick, are you trying to juggle motherhood and that burning desire to launch your business? Well, I've got something just for you. I'm hosting a free webinar that dives deep into how you can master motherhood and entrepreneurship. Yes, you can do both. I'll be sharing the same actionable steps that I've used to help countless moms launch their businesses while staying grounded and connected to their families. If you've been feeling the pull to start that business and you don't know where to begin, or you're struggling to balance it all, this webinar is for you. In this webinar, we'll unpack those mindset blocks, get you calm, confident, and ready to thrive as a mom and a business owner. Head to the show notes to save your seat. It's totally free. You don't want to miss this. Let's do this together, mama. Join the webinar. The link is in our show notes. I think that in my past 4 to 5 years of business, I've gotten, I don't want to say lucky. I have worked hard for where I'm at in my life and in my business, but lucky to the sense of like, most of my clients have come from Instagram. And so they have an opportunity to get to know me, like me, trust me, to then maybe one day purchase from me or work alongside me, and me being their mentor, their guide, whether it be in business and mental health and motherhood, whatever may have you. And I guess I say lucky because it's a blessing that I mean, from time to time, I'll share my stories that I feel blessed to be able to do the work that I do, and that my vulnerability, my story is welcomed with open arms on social media, that people like to tune in and enjoy what I put out and learn and feel empowered from my personal story. And so that is a blessing for me. I will never take that for granted. And it's been an easier flow of getting clients in that way, which is great, or it was great for a long time. But if I really, really want to explode my business, which I do, and it's more so because I want to reach more people, we're now utilizing ads. We've been utilizing ads maybe for, I don't know, maybe 4 months now. We've learned a lot. For me, and from what I've spoken to other business owners, it hasn't been super easy. It's a huge learning curve. And I've hired mentors specifically for this, like ad specialists, and it's still kind of complicated. Anyway, all that to say, I'm here for the long-lasting effect, or impact. I'm here for the ride of, let me learn how this new marketing tool, at least for us, is going to really help us get to where we want to get to in business. And what I'm learning is that, me going in front of a cold audience, if you're listening to me here for the first time, this is what you call long form content, a podcast. It's like 30 minutes or more, right? At least my episodes. And that's really, really good because people get to spend time with you. People get to really get a feel for who you are, what you stand for. The more episodes that you listen, the more that you will learn about me. I have solo episodes, I have interview episodes where you get to see other people's businesses, the great questions that I ask to learn more about their business. Like, the more time that you spend with me, you get to trust somebody more. Just think about any relationship. The first time you met one of your teachers or a colleague or a friend or a boss, like, the more time that you spend with them, the more comfortable you get around them, the more that you can see if you guys are truly aligned or not. You just gain more data on the person. And so long form content is great for this. These days on social media, it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And that's a whole other conversation. But when we're doing ads, it is short. It's 90 seconds or less to get a brand new face, a brand new ideal client to want to have the interest to click on whatever it is that you're selling or advertising at that time. And so with that being said, marketing, and it's exciting for me. I love this kind of like psychological thought and process and tweaking and experimentation. Your marketing has to be very clear, because what we learned in the first 2 or 3 months 2 months that we were running ads is we got a lot of hits. Like, a lot of people were viewing the content, a lot of people were signing up for our class that we were advertising at that time. It was just that the people coming in weren't my ideal client for mentorship. And so that's fine. It's just data. It's just, okay, what was going on wrong here? And so, my team, and then our ad specialist was like kind of going back and forth of like, what's going on here? What can we tweak? And that's where it led me to change this new ideal client. because I want to spend more time with my children. I want to work less. I've also shared with the whole au pair thing, if you haven't known about what's going on, please visit some episodes prior. But the whole au pair thing also taught me that too, of like, while it was such a blessing that we could bring in the revenue to afford help like this, it was an experience. We're actually going into bringing in our third au pair, hopefully sooner than later. That's a whole other episode. But we're just finishing out our contract and then we're probably gonna go back to regular babysitting, but neither here or there. I don't want to spend that much time away from my kiddos. I want to spend more time with them, and I want to know that me spending less time in front of my computer screen does not equate to a dip in revenue, and it does not equate to less impact. I don't want my company to go from serving 20 to 30 clients at one given time. Let me be more realistic about those numbers. When I have my masterminds like full and when I'm having my one-to-one clients, my coaching business probably takes on about anywhere from 8 to 15 clients at a time. Yeah. That's a good estimate. And so what I didn't want to happen was, oh, okay, you want to spend less time in the business. That means that you only take on 5 to 8 clients. Like, no, I want to have more impact in what I do. So I need to have a podium where I'm in front of more students. I need to have a pathway where I get to teach what I teach, given more refined on the way that I teach it, being a better educator, so that I can seamlessly educate masses, helping more people, helping more mamas, while also bringing in more revenue in less time, right? So this point in my life right now is very much highly around like time management, prioritizing what is important. And yeah, like we're switching it up a little bit. And it all comes back to my why. Why am I doing this? When I first was journaling in 2020, why I wanted to be a at-home working mom that ran a successful business, it's solely for my son. I didn't even know what gender. I wasn't even pregnant, okay? It was solely for I wanted a mama that is able to see every single milestone in my baby's journey. I want to be the mom that is not at work. I'm not shunning anyone who is. It's just my personal preference of what I really wanted and desired and what I manifested. I want to be the mama that's able to work on her computer and then her baby is taking the steps and put this down and then do this beautiful milestone that my baby is having. Hope this was a bite-sized, really good, informational podcast episode for you. And please be on the lookout. Just know that a class coming your way soon on all that I am talking about. And your best bet to get the notifications first is to join our email newsletter, Balanced Lead. All invitations will go out first and then on all other social media platforms. Okay, all right, that is it for now, my beautiful mamas. I will talk to you all very, very soon. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you for joining me today on Mindset Mastery Podcast. I hope today's conversation inspired you to embrace your own journey of balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship. Remember, it's all about mastering your mindset to create a life of success and fulfillment in both areas. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. Your support helps us reach more incredible moms just like you. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and mastering your mindset.